Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, thank you for being amazing moderators. Ladies and gentlemen, to my super chat, I don't have $20 million in venture capital funding, so your support via super chat and on my Patreon below is greatly appreciated, and everyone here is just amazing. You've done just such you've been so supportive, and it's just a real pleasure to speak every evening at around 9 p.m., maybe a little later, but the link is always up before 9, so people can show up and enjoy a little conversation with other viewers. This is a very interesting segment because Democrats have been saying, without evidence, that Trump worked with Russia, or that Trump could have worked with Russia. And it has been literally without evidence for the past 4 years. And I'll read you quotes from the people who started all of this nonsense. But the issue is the biggest issue is the following. When Trump makes a claim, they are completely apoplectic. They're completely hysterical. Media is completely fanatical. Democrats are seething and fuming, and they've melted down so often. They're the purest, most unfiltered form of discontent pertaining to Trump's endless lies and his claims without evidence. Well, aside from the fact you have the Washington Post who settled a what? $100-200 million lawsuit for going after a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old. But here, I just want to read you, before we get started with what President Trump said pertaining to Botox B. This is in 2017. I really don't do evidence, I do intelligence. I don't do evidence, I do intelligence. Who said this? Oh, Sally. Sally, don't listen to what Clapper's been saying. You know I've always loved you. Who's saying this? I really don't do evidence, I do intelligence. This is an answer from John Brennan when he was asked in May of 2017, was there any evidence of collusion? He said, I don't do evidence. I do the question was the following. The answer to the question of whether did evidence exist of collusion, coordination between Trump campaign and Russian state actors? Quote, I really don't do evidence, I do intelligence. This is in The Hill. He said, this is Brennan. As an intelligence professional, what we try to do is make sure that we provide all relevant information to the Bureau. If there is an investigation underway that they're looking into criminal activity. Do you know that Bob stole your briefcase? I don't know at all, but I wanted to provide as much information as I could. Do you know what happened to that shipment of Viagra? I actually don't know at all, but I think the neighbor stole it. That's the information I'm giving. That lottery ticket with $20 million, winning lottery ticket. Do you know what happened to it? No, not at all, but I think your ex-wife stole it. That's the information I'm giving. So you might as well just say, look, when it's Democrats or media, this statement, I really don't do evidence, I do intelligence. That's an admission that intelligence is not evidence. Intelligence is suspicion or assumption or fabricated, made-up baloney that media will run with, especially if it's about Trump. But if God forbid, if heaven forbid, someone said, I really don't do evidence, I do intelligence, so therefore we have to investigate the Clinton Foundation based on a piece of paper that Trumpy purchased, oh my God. Then they would put their thinking caps on. Oh my God, how dare you? There's no evidence. You're trying to politicize intelligence. You're going after your direct political rival. They're the biggest hypocrites on the planet, and they're the ones who lie the most. Trump is a saint compared to them. A saint. I really don't do evidence, I do intelligence. This is John Brennan. Okay. He is obviously saying that he had no intelligence. He had no evidence. You want to know who else is saying? James Clapper admitted no direct evidence, not only with Chuck Todd, but also recently with Congress. And they still investigated Trump for 4 years. This is a transcript. James Clapper admitted no direct evidence of Russia collusion in 2017. This is a quote, I never saw any direct empirical evidence that the Trump campaign or someone in it was plotting, conspiring with the Russians to meddle with the election. Now, there was what he deemed to be circumstantial evidence, but there's circumstantial evidence with the Clinton Foundation and servers with top secret intelligence on these servers. How many times can countries and giant multinational corporations and wealthy individuals give to a foundation and then receive preferential treatment before it's deemed as circumstantial evidence? Quote, I never saw any direct empirical evidence that the Trump campaign or someone in it was conspiring with the Russians to meddle with the election. And not only did he state this in 2017, but Mueller found no evidence either after investigating Trump. None your business. Hey, Shay Goodman, hello from Japan. Hello, none your business. None your business from Japan. Thank you so very much. None your business. Thank you. I am very fortunate to have the most amazing viewers living everywhere in the world. I just want to thank you. None your business. Thank you very much. I hope all is well. Thank you, none your business. Thank you. So, John, I just want to, when Trump makes a claim without evidence, the hall monitors, oh my God, the aneurysms, the apoplexy, the maniacal, seething, fuming, disbelief, indignation, outrage that Trump lied again. He lied. Oh, make it stop, God. He lied. He's just, what's this? I never saw any direct evidence that the Trump campaign or someone in it was plotting or conspiring with the Russians to meddle with the election. 2017. And then, when asked in a testimony, in the House just recently, Clapper also confirmed he never saw any evidence. So, this is really interesting. When you look at his direct testimony, there was no evidence of that included in our report. Then they say, oh, Sally Yates said, gosh, I'd love to answer that question, but it's classified. Admitting that there's no evidence. And they say there was no evidence included. This is Lindsey Graham. And I say that the Director of National Intelligence report had any reflection of collusion. And I say that's the Director of Intelligence, that had any evidence, any reflection of collusion between members of the Trump campaign and the Russians. There was no evidence of that included in our report. Chuck Todd then asked, I understand that, but does it exist? You say no, not to my knowledge. Is that still accurate? It is. Wow. This is amazing. Not only was it accurate in 2017 that he had no direct evidence or no evidence at all, but it's still, this is the transcript of just a couple weeks ago. And they give him a chance. Have you found any evidence at all? Have you found any evidence after 2 years of investigating this man and everyone around him and 30 plus indictments from process crimes where you set up and framed people? Everyone's talking about criminal justice reform, police reform. Okay, great. You're all right with people being set up and framed around Trump? Okay. Well, that's not going to work out very well for the country. Democrats and Democratic voters are yelling at the top of their lungs about police reform while at the same time embracing Comey as tightly as possible. And James Comey and Clapper and Brennan and Kleinsmith, who was just indicted for falsifying information, for writing statements that he knew to be false. Okay? These people are the epitome of corruption within criminal justice. None of your business, thank you. Voice of reason! Trump and Ingram interview said, and she lost again this time, working behind the scenes to be. I saw that. But I obviously think that eventually Clinton will be nominee. Will replace this nominee. Thank you, Voice of Reason. Thank you. Voice of Reason. Thank you very, 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 very much. Yeah, I mean, I think that if she wanted to Let's look at that transcript. Thank you, Voice of Reason. Thank you. We'll get to that in a second. We will get to that in a second. Thank you so much. Voice of Reason. But, Voice of Reason, thank you. But you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where you have James Clapper, you have Brennan, then you had Adam Schiff saying something that wasn't true, that he finally found direct evidence. But then a couple weeks later, they impeached President Trump on two allegations or two counts of two allegations: obstruction of abuse of Congress and obstruction of Congress and abuse of power. These are both subjective. You could have impeached President Obama on those as well. I mean, Eric Holder was actually held in contempt of Congress for withholding information, and even a number of Democrats voted for that as well. But you have James Clapper, who admitted just in congressional testimony that there was no direct evidence, and then they use the word direct evidence. Well, if you want to, if there are different shades of gray, if there are varying degrees of evidence, then what do you call money flowing into a foundation and then beneficial treatment taking place numerous times for weapons deals, for speaking engagements, for a whole bunch of things? Not to mention the campaign emails that say that there was a Bill Clinton Inc. Then Sally Yates is asked, Miss Yates, do you have any evidence? Are you aware of any evidence that suggests that in 2016 campaign, anybody in the Trump campaign colluded with the Russian government? Yates, and Senator, my answer to that question would require me to reveal classified information. No, it wouldn't. Graham, well, I don't get that, because he just said he issued the report, and he said he doesn't know of any. So what would you know that's not in the report? Are you asking me? No. Oh, okay, Yates. Well, I think that Director Clapper also said he was unaware of the FBI counterintelligence investigations. Don't you love how these people lie? They lie through their teeth. And it's so easy. It's so easy to see that they're lying. It's so easy to pick them up in lies, pick them apart in lies. It's so easy. I can only speculate why that's so. There wasn't the evidence, if there was any. I didn't reach the evidentiary bar in terms of the level of confidence that we're striving for in the intelligence community assessment. So, this is so hilarious. Yates, if I could try to clarify one answer before as well, because I think, Senator Graham, you may have misunderstood me. You asked whether I was aware of any evidence of collusion, and I declined to answer because answering would reveal classified information. No, it wouldn't. You want to know how we know? Because Clapper just basically told everyone that there was no evidence. Because if there was evidence, he would have included the evidence in his report. This is, they speak in circles. They speak in roundup, like they're basically saying they're basically lying by continually evading and circumventing the actual question in the hope that the person asking the question will forget why they asked the question. If I could clarify one answer, I think, Graham, you asked me whether I was aware of any evidence of collusion. I declined to answer because answering would reveal classified information. I believe that's the same answer that Director Comey gave. Well, who cares? Comey had no evidence either, because he would have given the evidence to Clapper, who compiled the report that said that there was no evidence. The report was compiled from all the evidence and information that Comey had, that Brennan had, and that Clapper had, neither of whom had any evidence of collusion. So they said, well, we're confident. They never said we're certain. They never said anything regarding certainty. We have a high level of we're high to moderate confidence. So they hide after 3 years, no indictments on any collusion. Sally Yates actually doesn't even answer the question. And then Clapper actually does and says, yeah, we had no evidence. Otherwise, I would have put it in the report. Okay? Sally Yates was obviously lying. If she had evidence and President Trump wasn't impeached for colluding with Russia, then what kind of evidence did she have? She obviously knew of no evidence. Or whatever she thought was evidence wasn't. Even the classified data. And I love how they hide behind classified data. Hillary Clinton had top secret intelligence on servers running outside of the United States government. So, but this is just, then you have, we can go on forever. All they do is lie, and they hide behind this veneer of authority, or they hide behind the belief you should show reverence to the intelligence community that's never been right on a major call. Bimbo Dickens BXN! Cricket Company telegraphing election flip. Latinos for Trump. Bimbo Dickens BXN, thank you. Thank you, Bimbo Dickens BXN, thank you. None of your business, thank you. Voice of Reason, thank you. It's really interesting how when they make claims, they can do so without evidence. And they can say, well, I can't answer your question of whether I knew there was evidence, because you'll just have to trust that I knew something, that I knew that there was evidence because of classified data I can't tell you. That is not answering the question. And the funny thing is, Sally Yates circumvented that question right after Clapper answered it directly, stating, I compiled a report from... He stated, I compiled a report from Comey that included everything James Comey had at the Bureau, and we found no evidence. And then she says, well, I think Comey said that he couldn't reveal classified data, and so I can't either. But Clapper had just answered Lindsey Graham's question by saying, yeah, all the evidence and information that James Comey had, I compiled within the report, and there was nothing there. And still, she did the whole, classified data. Miguel Char, thank you so much. Thank you, Miguel. Thank you for your work, HA. Thank you, Miguel. Thank you. So, before we get to President Trump, I have the transcript here of... So Donald Trump, Laura Ingraham interview, says people in the dark shadows controlling Biden. Well, I mean, first of all, does anyone think that Biden is in control of anything he does? Who do you think is pulling Biden's strings? Is former Obama people and the Donald Trump people you've never heard of? People that are in the dark shadows, people that are... What does that mean? It sounds like, okay, dark shadows, what is that? People that you haven't heard of, these people that are on the streets. There are people that are controlling the streets. We had somebody get on a plane from a certain city this weekend, and in the plane, it was almost completely loaded with thugs, wearing dark uniforms, black uniforms with gear, and this and that. They're on a plane. Where is this? I'll tell you sometime, but it's under investigation right now. And he just goes into... Basically, a lot of the chaos and mayhem and property damage is coordinated. Well, we already had 2 Democratic operatives resign in 2016 for fomenting violence. So, President Trump is not making a claim without any basis in reality. His claim is backed up by a lot more evidence than anything that James Clapper made up. They utilized, and then you have... I mean, we can go on. You want to go on forever? We can go and... CrowdStrike admits no evidence Russia stole emails from DNC server. This is the gray zone. And there's a whole lot of... And I just wish... I mean, there's a lot of great left-leaning journalists, but I just wish they would then make the leap to, they set up and framed Trump. They never go there because it would just help... It would help President Trump too much, or it would seem disloyal. So, on the transcript, Voice of Reason, I can't find anything. Whoa, I can't find anything regarding Clinton trying to be VP, which could have possibly taken place. Like I said, she could have been VP. Voice of Reason, if you have a link to that, that would be fantastic. Voice of Reason, thank you. But they constantly go at Trump and say he claimed without evidence. James Clapper, Brennan, CrowdStrike, Comey claimed without evidence. A whole bunch of things. And the interesting thing is when Trump talks about mail-in ballots, he's simply saying he doesn't trust Democrats. They don't trust him. But the difference is their suspicion is legitimized by media. Media has no problem with Clinton making statements like, "Oh yeah, he'll never leave," and "Oh yeah, he'll don't contest the election because he's going to cheat," or sorry, don't give in or don't concede. Like, you didn't even get close enough to concede. That's hilarious. And Biden's not going to get close enough. There's zero support for Biden. So if they're really rolling with this, which Clinton is definitely going to be on that debate stage, but if they're really rolling with this, they will lose miserably. Biden is doing worse than Clinton among Black and Latino voters. He has zero enthusiasm. The only people who are even talking about Biden, because you can look at the left-leaning YouTubers, nobody's talking about Biden. You could look at the tweets. I don't have Twitter, but you could look at the tweets from like the I'm with her crowd pundits. They're not even talking. No one's talking about Biden. The man is nowhere to be seen or found. Nobody knows what he stands for. Whenever he speaks, it's like oh my God, like it is a catastrophe when he actually tries to convey a sentiment that he truly feels. He gets to, well, if you have a problem voting for me or Trump, finding out who you're for, then you ain't black. And that was Charlemagne the God, who can't stand Trump. And that was 3 days before George Floyd was murdered. But this is how they do things. Instead of, when Trump makes a claim based on suspicion, Frankenstein! I couldn't have imagined that I would hear a president ask for a drug test before a debate. Can you elaborate on that, H.A.? That came out of the blue for me. I'm not against it, but how strange. Frankenstein, it was more of a it was President Trump making it more dramatic or bringing drama. It was more hyperbole, I think, or he might have been serious, but he was saying, well, why was Biden able to speak in a coherent manner for 20 minutes when he usually can't do that? So it was kind of part of President Trump's way of poking fun at him or pointing out that why is it that Biden, slurs his speech or like wanders off into Neverland when he's asked a question by the press, and how is it that after 20 minutes he was kind of all right? So it was more of like, was he on something? But I know President, I don't think he was 100% serious. Frankenstein, thank you. It was more of a way to point out that, is it a shtick? Like Biden picks and chooses the times when he is coherent and able to actually communicate a thought. Frankenstein, thank you. Jane, thank you so very much. And yeah, Frankenstein, exactly. That's the thing. One of the great things about President Trump is he makes these people completely lose it because he just does not care. He just does not care about their indignation, which is fantastic. Jane, thank you, Jane. Thank you very, very much. Now type in really quickly, or you can just type in quotations, Clinton suggests. You get CNN. Hillary Clinton suggests Russians are grooming Tulsi. Not Clinton claims without evidence that Russians are grooming Tulsi. No. You don't get that. You don't get Madam Secretary claims without evidence. Washington Post. Hillary Clinton suggests Putin has compromise on Trump. Not claims without evidence. This is the Washington Post and CNN. This is how they lie all the time. They lie through their duplicity in their disingenuous headlines and their deceitful headlines. When Trump makes a claim based on suspicion, and that suspicion could actually be based on, a whole bunch of evidence, like 2 Democratic operatives being forced to resign in 2016 for actually fomenting violence. Where are the Republican operatives fomenting violence at during the Onward Together rallies? Oh, that's right. That never happened. Where's the $1.4 billion in property damage after marches and protests from the NRA or the Heritage Foundation or whatever? Oh, that's right. That doesn't happen. But the media it's peaceful. Everything's peaceful. That's why over 60% of Americans don't trust media. So, CNN, Hillary Clinton suggests Russians are grooming Tulsi. Suggests or claims without evidence? No. When it's Madam Secretary, it suggests. The Hill, Clinton suggests Gabbard is favorite candidate of Russians. Not claims without evidence. No, why would you say that? And then you had an old school one. This is in 2007. Clinton suggests Obama has character issues. Okay. If it was Trump that suggested that, oh my God, it would have been racism. But it was Clinton, so no problem. This is an old. So Hillary Clinton has been suggesting things without evidence for a long time. Then New York Post, Hillary Clinton, Trump may not leave the White House. Based on what? Not Madam Secretary claims without evidence that he may not leave the White House. The Daily Beast, Clinton suggests Trump helped guide Russian propaganda. It's a suggestion. You don't need evidence for a suggestion. Has Trump ever suggested something? No. He claims without evidence. He lied. Clinton suggested. Trump lied without evidence. He claims without evidence. Madam Secretary just suggested. It's different. So, The Week, Clinton suggests Trump was a victim of Roger Stone too. I mean, how many suggestions? You type in just close quotes, Clinton suggests, and you get how media treats Democrats when it's a claim without evidence. Then put Trump claims without evidence. Oh my God. You get this Pavlovian response. They're watering. Their mouths are watering. Oh my God. Oh my God. You have this double standard. And this is just one of the many double standards. This is just one of the many. Bitman Dickens BXN makes baseless accusation. This is just one of the way they get around baseless accusations is by saying, Clinton suggests. Let's see if there's a Comey suggests. Comey suggests Trump could be indicted. Comey suggests Trump's a narcissist. Then you have Comey memos that can't be verified because it's the rantings of a government employee that was fired that are now worshipped. Of course, you had the Steele dossier that was literally made up. There was nothing accurate in the Steele dossier. The only thing accurate was the country exists and people breathe air, but they live in their own world. That's just one example of the duplicity. That's just one example of the duplicity. It's unbelievable. So, but this is one of the many reasons President Trump's going to win. This is one of the many reasons President Trump's going to win. Because they claim without evidence so many absurd things for the past 4 years. And here, this is also an interesting phenomenon. The fact-checking that they obsess over fact-checking Trump and anyone around Trump. But almost always what they do is they provide a rebuttal. Providing a rebuttal is not a fact check. You can make a claim that's part of an overall argument. If the claim is true, saying that it's misleading is not accurate. Simply saying that it's misleading, there's another way to look at things, is not a fact check. That's part of a discussion where people either have a debate or they're arguing over something, or there are 2 points being debated or argued. Okay? It's not like you can't say, there's a million examples you can use, but you can't say, President Trump this is the kind of thing they do. They're like, Trump claims that he fulfilled his promise on the economy before the pandemic. Well, it's true that unemployment was at record lows, and then they'll pick an economic statistic, but inequality was still high. And they'll, obsess over nuance that is just basically part of the back and forth of political banter or discussion. A fact check is if somebody makes a claim that is categorically false or a claim that can't be proven. When Clinton stated that Tulsi was the Russians were grooming Tulsi Gabbard, that is that's categorically false, because there's no way to prove the statement, and it's an insult. There's no evidence that exists. Making a claim without any evidence is supposed to be a lie. It's never a lie when it's Madam Secretary or Democrats. When it's Trump, he makes a claim with the same amount of suspicion, or he makes a claim based on his belief that suspicion is warranted. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world. So, what was it, 20% of the Washington Post fact check? Let's see. President Trump has made 16,241 false or misleading claims. A misleading claim is if it's a false, this is what this headline alone, these headlines alone are false and misleading. When you write a headline that Trump has made 19,127 false and misleading claims, the reader sees the word false first and then just says he made 18,000 or 20,000 lies. That's it. A misleading claim is up for debate. That's part of that would normally be part of a debate or a discussion. Market Watch, Washington Post, 10,000 Trump untruths is about 25% fake news. Literally true comments can be misleading, fact checker says. So there are fact checkers that fact checked the Washington Post. And this gentleman writes, I found 27 of 100 Trump comments to be defensible if not unimpeachably accurate. So 27 of the 100 were completely accurate. And then you got to ask yourself, how many, and by the way, all of these are viewed as lies. Oh, make it stop, God. Make it stop. He's lying. 27, a fact checker who fact checked the Washington Post found that 27 were true. So almost 1/3 were just absolutely true. Now, 1/3 also, they probably focused only on hyperbole. Trump can say, this is the best economy we've ever had. Oh my God, it's not the best economy we've ever had. And ominous thoughts on possibility of a civil WAR. This mail-in ballot stuff is a recipe for disaster. And Dems have lost control of far-left extremists. And ominous. There will not be a civil WAR. And I have to spell things out because of the algorithm. There will not be one. And here's what's taking place. First of all, if there was one, conservatives would easily... You can't devote your lives to gun control and then say you want a civil WAR. Kind of doesn't make any sense. But that's the Democratic Party for you. They don't make any sense at all. But there's these conflicts. If you look at in Oregon or Indominus, Washington, you look at D.C. You look at their locations where people wear bicycle helmets and they're carrying pepper spray. And by the way, the left-leaning anarchists are, it seems, always carrying firearms, which is really interesting because Democrats have always fought to make it difficult to open or conceal carry firearms, which is really interesting, isn't that? Yet another example of immense hypocrisy. But these are criminal acts taking place in locations where police and district attorneys and local state government officials are not the police, but I'll say the local state and county officials are allowing it to take place. It's almost like they're not coordinated events, but they're altercations captured on cell phone where you have a state of millions upon millions of people, a state that with a population of millions upon millions of people, and it's generally the left-leaning quote-unquote protesters at 3 a.m. converging upon a person, like what happened to the Trump supporter the other night. Converging, there he is. Then what happened to the young man in Wisconsin? What happened to the man whose life was taken from him, murdered in Oregon? What happens is they say, hey, there he is, and they converge upon the person, and it's horrible. I mean, there's Andy No, Tim Pool, They have endless videos of violence and mayhem from far left extremists. Endless videos. Ian Miles Chong. These are three of the best journalists. I would say they're three of the best journalists in the country. And I mean this. They're literally three of the best journalists in the country, because I believe all three of them started on the left, realized how dysfunctional and duplicitous and disingenuous the left is, just the same way I did. But they're really awesome. And they have endless videos of, and this is what takes place. Media, they know that media will cover up anything. There are people who aren't even charged. It takes a long time to get local officials or prosecutors to really go after people on the left in Washington or Oregon or Illinois. Bimbo Dickens BXN makes baseless accusation. Yep. R.R. Zachman, thanks for the chance to listen to this. Thank you, R.R. Zachman. Thank you very, very much for watching. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Bimbo Dickens BXN, thank you. R.R. Zachman, thank you very, very much. None of your business. The only false statement I heard Trump say in the debate is you'd be in jail. None of your business. Thank you. William R. Abrams III. Mr. Tiny would love to be a pony soldier. William, none of your business. You know, it's interesting. You see, like, you always see these videos of left-leaning protesters, quote-unquote, converging upon people. They're just converging and, like, beating them up. And all you get is, it's been peaceful. Everything's peaceful. Oh, it's just peaceful. Stores being, broken into, police stations being, torched. And it's peaceful protest, peaceful. And then paintballs. Trump supporters have paintballs. Oh my God, these paintballs hurt. The paintballs. Meanwhile, like, how many Trump supporters have lost their lives? And it's like, and then how many people have lost their lives for David Dorn? We can go on. I mean, it's unbelievable that this is exactly why 60% of Americans don't trust media, and how media lies all the time. Burnell Trammell, very vocal Trump supporter, black man in Wisconsin, murdered. Oh my God, they're so quick to say, well, there's no evidence that it's because of his political affiliation. I mean, could you imagine if the tables were turned? If it was a red state and a person within a community that was, a community full of Trump supporters, and the one Clinton supporter, and could you imagine? I mean, they focus, the picture they paint is not reality. This is the problem. They are so far removed from reality. It's unbelievable. Exactly. Bucolic Buffalo. I don't understand that, Bucolic Buffalo. I don't get that too. Then they try to, Bucolic Buffalo, then they try to say, oh yeah, Biden condemns the violence. Like, everyone knows you benefit from it. You give tacit approval. Anything bad that happens, like you have a person that snaps, an evil maniac, goes into any location. Oh my God, the NRA did this. Direct correlation. Direct. Oh, Trump's words did this. But you have Democratic politicians say, yell in their faces, and you have media saying, oh my God, this, that, this. You have hashtag wrong Trump. But it's never anything that they find worthy, any cause, any movement, any politician. They always say, oh my God, you're making a claim without evidence. You're making a claim without evidence. Well, that's what you do with Trump and anything associated with conservatives. You make a claim without evidence, and you don't use the same logic to judge what takes place in Democrat. Why are Democratic-run cities the worst off economically in terms of the pandemic and also in terms of property damage? This is a fact. They have the highest unemployment rates. They have the greatest amount of the greatest number of lives lost from the pandemic, and they have by far also the greatest number of lives lost, but also by far the most property damage. Then they have the audacity to go after Trump and say, we don't want you, Trump. You're pouring gasoline on something. It's happening under your watch, you clueless imbeciles. You have lost the election already. They have literally lost the election because they cannot get away from the fact, because people see how media reacts. Bucolic Buffalo, thank you. Ferris Bueller. Axios claims Trump will appear to win a landslide, but 10 days later he will lose mail-in votes. Biden or Clinton will not succeed on November 3rd. This is going to be a giant cluster. Ferris, the Supreme Court, I call this Kavanaugh's revenge. It'll be Kavanaugh's revenge. The Supreme Court will get involved. This is why, you can't say Trump does things to break the Constitution or circumvent the Constitution. It's like he's always bound by courts, like any president. They're telegraphing also, why are Ferris and Bucolic Buffalo? Thank you as always. Thank you, Ferris, and thank you, Bucolic Buffalo. Bucolic Buffalo, thank you as always. Ferris, why are they so giddy and happy? This is what I want to know. Why are they so happy that the election won't be called on November 3rd? Kind of makes you wonder why they're so confident that suddenly they'll get this huge, this enormous number of votes to just put them over the top. I mean, how does that work? How on earth does that work? How is it that they're always saying, well, the mail-in votes are going to help us? So how do you know? How on earth? Well, because the polls were lopsided in favor of Clinton, and still Trump did very well with mail-in. Ballots haven't even been printed yet. People have not voted by mail yet, and the polls have already tightened. The polls have already tightened, and everyone now sees what's taking place in Democratic-run cities across the country. And the true racists are people who are the smart Democratic strategists who say, wow, this really helps Trump's demographic. It's like, you don't think people of all backgrounds look at property damage? You know how many black-owned businesses have been burnt to the ground, destroyed, because of maniacs that the media call peaceful? How many businesses owned by minority business owners have been ruined You have to borrow money to open a business. You work your behind off. You have to hope and pray. You think the people destroying these things care? They never opened a business in their life. They don't care. It takes 2 seconds to destroy something. It takes a lifetime to create something. They don't care. What have they created? They created nothing. They just go on their Facebook groups or their Instagram or their Twitter, and they talk about how wonderful the economy in Venezuela is. And they just, talk about how horrible Trump is, and he's the second coming of the worst authoritarian we've ever seen. They live in a fantasy world where they're really fighting, and at the end of the day, they're actually the biggest Trump supporters of all time, because every business, every example of chaos and mayhem equals thousands of votes for President Trump. You could put every person dressed in the typical attire of a left-leaning partisan that is, causing mayhem and controlling the streets at night. They are working for President Trump. That's why I kind of look at them and I'm like, I'm angry and frustrated and sad and unhappy that they're causing so much damage. But at the same time, I'm like, you're helping Trump. Do you not know this? And I'm telling you, there have to be government informants within these groups. There have to be government informants within these groups. I mean, it's almost like it has to be like there's probably 100%, almost 100% certainty. Every single group of people that are out there in the evening, one of them, either one of them helped start all of it, that is a government informant or a local state informant, and the government almost certainly, either a government agency, there has to be some connection to, I don't know. It's unbelievable how this is serving to reelect President Trump, and I don't realize that. I don't think they realize that there hasn't been a left-leaning movement without government informants. So if you have government informants, very likely some of them are pro-Trump. So it's unbelievable. This is their moment in the sun to go ahead and cause mayhem and chaos, and it's like every night is a Trump election ad, every single night. Roman hoax! What CNN means when they say fiery but peaceful protest. The buildings are burning down peacefully, as in the fire was not disturbed, so loving. Exactly. It's pretty unbelievable. It's pretty unbelievable. It's pretty unbelievable. Pretty unbelievable. But you can look and Dem operative stepping back after video suggests group incited violence at Trump rallies. It's a video that suggested. If it was the other way around, oh my God, this Trump operatives, they were trying to create violence because Putin told them to, and the nationalists and the Putins wrote a script, and they were, sending money from the NRA, and, and Eric Trump and Don Jr. But this is just Democratic operative step back after video suggests inciting violence, and maybe not. Democratic operative fired. Another resigns in the wake of undercover videos. And then, in the fine print, the operatives were heard discussing sending agitators to Trump rallies to incite candidates support into violence. The DNC denies employing the tactic. Just don't talk about it. The headline from BuzzFeed is, Democratic operative fired. Another resigns in wake of undercover videos. If it was the opposite, it would be like, Republican operatives under the tutelage of the Putin inciting violence among the innocent faithful of the Democratic Party is innocent. A Putin nationalist. Everything is spun. Nobody trusts media because everyone knows that when you have every single publication, all of Hollywood, pulling for one side. Missy, hello. You have everyone pulling for one side. And everybody knows what's going on. It's not like this isn't rocket science. This is not rocket science. It's like so, and when President Trump wins again, and hey, I'll be disappointed if, and I know Clinton is eventually going to be nominated, or take over, whatever, who cares how it happens, who cares, the takeover replaced because he's the only chance they have. But if, I'm not hedging any, but I'm still saying, at the end of the day, President Trump's going to win. I've been saying this forever. It's still going to be a great call, but if they go with Biden, and by some miracle in how nature and the universe runs, somehow Biden, because of his will and his charisma and his foothold on the DNC and his stranglehold on the DNC, yeah, right. If it's Biden, they're not even going to get close enough to cheat. Democrats, don't you want to get close enough to just do your usual, what you did to Bernie Sanders? Oh, they did nothing to me. What are you talking about? Again with your Michigas. They did nothing. They didn't cheat. What did they do? They did nothing. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was nothing but nice to me. Deborah, I miss you. I miss your frizzy hair. I miss everything about you, Deborah. You've been so good to me always, and it was a shame that the Putins made you resign. That was just too bad. Crypto Morpheus! Dems would denigrate aliens if they were pro-Trump. Oh, denigrate. I thought you meant like Martians. Crypto Morpheus! Yeah, everything Democrats do is based pure. So this is why they talk about voter suppression. If they thought the current laws pertaining to voting helped them, they'd be like, "Oh, this is fine. What's the problem? Everything's good." They did. Look what happened to Rand Paul the other day. Could you imagine? AOC, there was a congressman who said something rude to AOC. Oh my God, it was a cause célèbre. Oh my God, it was the biggest deal in the world. He said a bad word. Oh my God, I just want to let you know I used to work in a bar, and this and that is the big problem. Oh my God, the sky is falling, and this is worse than what happened to Joan of Arc. And, he said a bad word. Rand Paul is like almost assaulted. If it wasn't for police around him, they would have torn him apart, him and his wife. And nothing from media or any of the progressive Congress people, nothing. Oh, well, it's too bad. Then you get this, they keep saying, we're going to confront you. But they don't want a world where there's reciprocity. Any reciprocity is viewed as, oh, what? Oh, my God. It's like, you don't want to, they're convinced, because media always sides with them, they're convinced that there won't be any reciprocal interaction. And when there's even anything remotely reciprocal, it's, oh my God, did you see what happened? It's like, yeah, you were attacking this person. What do you want to happen? What do you want to take place? They think it's their God-given right to just simply cause property damage or, assault people. And, Rand Paul's an example. But if a person in Congress is, if a congressman uses a bad word, oh my God, there needs to be a moment of silence, and lower the flags. We need jets overhead. Oh my God, this is horrible. They live in their own world. They live in their own world. So it's just it is interesting. Now you have President Trump with tremendous amount of Latino support. It's interesting the propaganda from Democrats. It's interesting how it's not working. Like how Black and Latino support for President Trump has increased over time. It has increased over time. Nearly a third of California Latinos support President Trump. That is awesome. That is really awesome. And then you have Latinos in Texas, throughout the country, Florida, voting for Hispanic vote is going to give President Trump the win. Hispanic vote is going to give President Trump the win. This is the largest non-white demographic. And then the Democrats, the cages, who built them? And Trump signed an executive order. I agree with Democrats that it was a very bad thing. He signed an executive order ending it, and yeah, it was a horrendous thing. You want to know what happened under President Obama? Worse. That's why you have these Democrats like Stephen Miller. It's like, did you forget 8 years where they called President Obama the deporter in chief? La Raza called President Obama that. So, the meltdown is going to be, that's why they're like, you just wait, because even if Trump does well, we still have all the... They don't realize they're not messing with Bernie Sanders. They think Trump is Bernie Sanders. Trump ain't Bernie Sanders. He'll fight back till the end. He'll count every vote. He's like, count the votes. I can't do a Trump. He'll count every single one. Every single vote. He's like, let's just recount everyone. And he's like, you want to go do the signatures? Like, they tried to go after Kanye West, saying, "Oh yeah, the signatures were forged." Like, oh, now you're okay with mail-in ballots when it's Democrats, but with Kanye West, you obsess over the signatures. Oh, the signatures. Oh, he can't be on this ballot. Oh, you mean there's a problem with forged signatures? Oh, good to know. Roman Oaks, Mad Liberals on Twitter created one of the funniest memes I've ever seen. It's pinned on his Twitter page. You should check it out. It's very funny. Okay, so Roman hoax. I'm going to see if I can get the, I don't know if I'm going to get the, okay, hold on, let me see. Can Joe come out and debate? Can Joe come out? That's so funny. This is hilarious. Oh my God. This is hilarious. This is so funny. And that's pretty much the way it is. That's why it's the switcheroonie is going to happen eventually. Otherwise they lose. So it's like, you know what? They don't even get close. They don't even get close if there's no switcheroonie, so let's see here. There's a lot of talk about Bernie supporters becoming Trump supporters, and it is true. And Jill Stein supporters becoming Trump supporters. That is true. It's kind of like the gateway drug is Bernie Sanders out of the Democratic Party. And then you can go Bernie to Jill Stein, Bernie to Trump, Bernie to Jill Stein to Trump like I did. You have to first get out of the cult. Then you're like, oh my God, people are actually nice and normal. Oh my God, this is great. And I get a president who's reversed U.S. foreign policy, which is the biggest issue we face as a country. It's not Russian Facebook ads or climate change. Climate change, you need the entire planet to agree on, a certain course of action pertaining to combating climate change. Or you need you're not going to immediately, it's a very important issue, but you're not going to immediately reverse climate change. You can immediately reverse U.S. foreign policy, which is what President Trump is doing, or at least within 4 years or so. He's altered U.S. foreign policy more in just 4 years than what's taken place in 20 years prior, or 16 years prior. President Obama continued Bush's foreign policy, which was a horrendous foreign policy that destabilized regions of the world and made us less safe. Why don't they? This is the thing. They never vacation in the countries where they implement regime change. Why is this? Because the same reason they don't protest at 3 a.m. Why don't they? Why aren't these people? Why doesn't CNN and why, if everything's peaceful, go to Oregon and Washington right now. Enjoy. What's the problem? Oh, that's right. They don't want to risk their lives. That's why they don't want to go vacation in Libya. Frankenstein! Be here November 3rd. Come on, man. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. William R. Abrams. Mr. Tiny loves Debbie's pudding. William R. Abrams. They're not going to win the election. And I don't know if they're slowly realizing they're not going to win. And this will be the absolute best, most amazing moment in U.S. history. And I want to tell you something. I know a lot of really good people who turned into the most irrational human beings. And it'll be very enjoyable to watch President Trump go 8 years. And to then see, because they're going to be thinking of me, the people that I know. I'm not talking about like my viewership, or I'm not talking about like in media or anything. I'm talking about individuals that I know that became completely unhinged, that did things that were, not right. Dirty. They did me dirty. But it'll be interesting because I'll be thinking of them. Look. I'm trying to help them. Do you understand how, nice I am and noble and, generous? I'm trying to help them. If it's not Hillary, because it's going to be Hillary, but if it's not, it's going to be Clinton. And it's Biden. And during the debates, he goes, "Hey, come on now, man. Come on, man. Oh, come on, man. The cornflakes, man. Erect leg hairs, man. Come on, man. I put lotion on my leg hairs. Come on, man. It's 100 years, man. The deal." And then he catches himself. He's like, this pandemic is 100 years. How come you know the deal? I don't know what you're saying. We have no clue what you're saying. We have no clue. We don't know what you're talking about. We have no clue. Come on, man. What are you, junkie? Is that you're junkie? Junkie! I mean, President Trump. It won't be it will not be. This is a man who goes in for sometimes you see those MMA matches with the, seasoned, experienced professional versus, somebody that doesn't, he just wants to he's a wrestler or a famous, pro wrestler or whatever. And immediately they go for the takedown. And then immediately a submission. It's Trump won't even, it'll be immediate submission, takedown, submission. It'll be immediate. He's not even going to wait. There's no there's no back and forth and feeling out the opponent. It's just immediate. And then if it ever did go down, because even Pelosi's try Joe Biden can debate Trump. Trump has shown his scorn, his cruelty, calling Biden, a wet noodle. He called Biden a wet noodle. And then, of course, you get on Twitter. Oh, yeah, your noodle is wet. Your noodle is wetter. Ah! And then they think this is politics. Oh yeah, Trump can't drink water. You see what he does? It's you can try all you want. In fact, don't even offer a rebuttal. Yeah, Trump can't drink water. Keep thinking that. Yeah. Trump walked down the podium. Biden's good. Yeah. Keep thinking that. Well, and then you have some people we've spoken to mental health professionals and Biden's just fine. Really? Make sure you never go to these mental health professionals. You could take an alligator, put a top hat on an alligator. You can put a top hat on an alligator. And Democrats would then say, this alligator is outperforming Trump in Iowa. And then the polls that they worship It's like the polls were all wrong in 2016. Why would you bring them up now? You have these, up until recently, you've had these like hilarious, Biden is doing better than any candidate since the inception of modern polling. Who cares? In 2016, the polls were horrendous. Who cares? They never learn. You're talking about the biggest gluttons for punishment in the known universe. They never learn. Thank you, Voice of Reason. Thank you very, very much. Voice of Reason. I'm going to look at this right now. Thank you, Voice of Reason. Thank you. Thank you, Voice of Reason. Okay, thank you. I'm going to check that out. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, let's see. Wow. It's like, you know. She worked. She wanted to be vice president behind the scenes. Wow. You know, it's interesting. That's the first acknowledgement I've seen. Thank you, Voice of Reason. Wow. But this is the thing. If she wanted to get in as VP, because it was part of a strategy, I have to think there's a plan B. Voice of Reason, thank you so very much. Ranger Partners, thank you. Thank you, Ranger Partners. Thank you for being here for so long. Thank you. Voice of Reason, it's interesting. Thank you for sending that. That's interesting. You know, I mean, if I find it very difficult though to kind of imagine either Clinton stopping short of achieving their ultimate goal. So, Voice of Reason, thank you for that. I'm going to check that out even more. Thank you. Plus, it would add so much. It would add so much interest to the election. My God Almighty. Look. Everyone knows that the current nominee, whatever you want to call this Zoom nominee, everyone knows you're talking about a human being with some type of major issue. There's something going on. There's some major issue going on, whether it's contrived or serious. No one is going, it's not even going to be close. If it's Biden-Trump, you can go into November 3rd partying, and I don't care if they, oh my God, well, you know, these 70 electoral college votes might flip. They're like, Trump is up by 70 electoral college votes, but there's an influx of mail-in ballots. Yay! It's like, that's not even statistically possible. What did you just get? You just, like, for every 1,000 Democratic votes, there's one Trump vote? Oh, wow. That's funny. How did that happen? That's like the coin flips in Iowa. Then they come, no, the coin flips. I love this. I'm going to start when Trump wins. The first thing I'll say is, no, Trump didn't win the election. That's their snarky, arrogant, narcissistic headline always. No, the coin flips didn't give Clinton the win and Bernie the loss. No. The coin flips. Here we go again. No, the coin flips. Here. Just type in, no, the coin flips. Here, NPR. Coin toss fact check. Everything that makes no sense, fact check. Fact check. This is before we found out that the Russians wanted us to know Bernie was cheated. Coin toss, fact check. No coin flips. No, coin flips didn't win. Iowa for Hillary Clinton. Oh, come on, man. No. It's been reported that as many as 6 sites where ties were decided by a flip of a coin, and Clinton won every single one of them. The odds of that happening are 1 in 64. But wait, there's more. No, the coin flips didn't hurt Bernie Sanders. That makes you go, indeed, here's proof. Watch one of the coin flips taken in this video, as if they couldn't have videoed the one coin flip that worked. Like, it's tails redo the video. Just delete the other videos. Times. It's heads again. Wow, that's crazy. It's 1 out of 64. 1 in 64. Yeah. Except that doesn't tell the whole story. Let's read this. Except that doesn't tell the whole story. Fact check. Da-da-da. In fact, there were at least a dozen tiebreakers, and Senator Sanders won at least a handful of them. What is that? How is that a rebuttal? An Iowa Democratic Party official told NPR. So Debbie Wasserman told NPR. Gone unmentioned so far is that even if Clinton won the Miracle 6 and there were no other coin tosses, it would make little difference in the outcome. Yes, that's why she won all 6 coin tosses. I mean, honestly, can you just... you're always so focused on things, like shadowy things. Just give in to the reality that nothing ever bad happens with the Democrats. Nothing. It's always just fine. That is in part because of the complicated way. I don't even understand it. It's too complicated for me. 1 out of 64 straight coin flips? I mean, my brain can't... that's why it happened, because I don't understand how the Democrats did Iowa. That's right. They should have used an app. Oh, they did. That's right. In 2020, they used an app, and it took 3 days to find out. And what was being reported on election night and what wasn't? Let's step back and explain for a second. And this is tricky, so stay with us. The arrogance is unbelievable. This is tricky, so stay with us. Gosh, thanks so much. Voice of Reason. Hillary or no Hillary, I'm with you all the way. I can't fathom Biden as a reality either. Thank you, Voice of Reason. Thank you, Voice of Reason, very, very much, always, for your support and for always watching. And thank you for your support this evening. And greatly appreciated, as always. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. William R. Abrams, Trump was awesome wrestling Vince McMahon. Yes, he was. Voice of Reason, yes, I saw that 57th, 58th section. Thank you. Thank you, Voice of Reason. Very, very, very much. Greatly, greatly appreciated. And it's just, this is like the way it's like, other than the inappropriate touching and the mucus and the slobbering all over the person's earlobes, Biden hasn't done anything that would be seem as inappropriate, aside from wet willies and, whispering sweet nothings into the ears of very frightened and petrified people. I mean, but other than that, there's been no evidence to suggest. Other than the wet willies and whispering bizarre things into people's voices and the unwanted touching, there is no evidence at all to suggest that Biden would be doing bad things. Oh, so the problem's with me. Yes, it's with you, Trumplican. Sorry. That's okay. Sam J. thought it was getting worse, but it just keeps getting better. Sam! It's so bad, it's good. It's getting so bad, it's good. It's so bad that it's good, Sam. Francis! Found out about you from Styx X, and Styx is awesome. Years ago, Clinton's head. 24. Well, it's like Francis and Sam and Voice of Reason. Who is the original Star Trek? It was the... they just put his head on a machine. It was the original Star Trek. It was Christopher Pike. She'll do the Christopher Pike. But we have to continue this. This is NPR quoted me, so I love NPR, but let's step back for a second. Let's step back and explain that for a second. And this is tricky, so stay with us. Okay. I mean, it's probably my fault. I mean, it's because I lack intelligence and understanding of the way the world works that I thought that 6 straight coin flips was impossible, but actually it's my problem. Tell us, oh wise liberal. First, and understand that the state party reported a grand total of 171,508 voters, the second highest turnout in Iowa history behind 2008, and no raw vote was or is ever broken out by a candidate and recorded at the Democratic primary. I don't even know what that means. Fine. That's because in Iowa, it's a delegate game. Iowa is a multi-step process for picking delegates. Oh! Okay! Monday night was just September 1st, and here's how it works. Monday night was just September 1st. Monday night was just step 1, and here's how it works. Okay. Are you going to explain why 6 straight coin flips didn't help Clinton? Why, yes. Keep listening. There were 1,683 precincts in Iowa that night. Those precincts elected 11,065 delegates to the county conventions. That universe of 11,065 delegates is whittled down to 1,406 who will attend congressional district and state conventions. And here's the root of what's causing all the confusion. The breakdown of those 11,065 is not reported at night when Iowa is done. Oh, what? What is reported, what Clinton's 49.9 to 49.6% tracing paper-thin lead is based on, is state delegate equivalents. Oh, those are estimates of how many of those 11,065 will attend the congressional district and state conventions. Stupid person for even being skeptical. Keep listening. So when the coin tosses are happening, they are elected delegates in that larger universe. Have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons? Don't you know there's like a Marvel universe in the universe for druids and elves? Gosh, that means for Clinton to have picked up four delegates, she would have had to have won not 6 in a row, but more like 47. What they making? They make everything up. Even if she won 6 in a row, it's not even possible. And then you don't know how many in a row she won. Like if she won like 3 in a row 20 times, she won 3 like throughout the night, whatever. A coin flip, really? Yes, Iowa, and it's not alone, uses coin tosses to break ties in precincts. And we should trust them with mail-in ballots. These are the fantastic Democrats. So, what was about 60 missing? Okay, so the 49.9 to 49.6, that means Clinton, to have picked up 4 delegates, she would have had to have won not 6 in a row, but more like 47. But how did she still manage to get 6 in a row? Okay. This is how it's pretty rare in normal race, but this is not how the Clinton and Sanders were separated by raising 3.3 margin or 4 state delegate equivalents. Yeah, but the way that they counted people, and this was even in Iowa, it's like 1, 2, 3, 7, 10, 12, 5, 12. Okay, yeah, we have more. Whatever. The whole thing's nonsense anyway. Francis. Thank you, Francis. Thank you. So you would need 47 straight coin flips to get 4 delegates. But see, again, did those 6 straight coin flips impact any other decision made? This is how they do things. They're like, oh well, they would have had to have 47 straight. Instead, they had 6 straight, right? But you have no clue if perhaps the 47 straight, the 6 straight, helped in some way with eventually getting those 4 delegates. I don't know the whole thing. The Russians hacked the DNC to inform the country of this. So I don't even have to explain myself anymore. It's so convoluted. They have different alignments in Iowa. That's why there was an app that didn't work. They didn't know who won Iowa for like 2 days after. I actually bet one of my buddies on the Iowa result, and I was right. But he wouldn't admit to it for like 4 weeks after. No, actually, like 3 months after, when finally they officially made it official that Mayor Pete won. The whole thing is so convoluted, and it's like, that it's such a scam. You wouldn't buy a car this way. You wouldn't go into a car. You wouldn't go to a car lot and like you read the fine print and it was written by one of the, Democrats in Iowa. The car broke down, but honestly, it really wouldn't have been our fault. For the car to have had, everything break down. That would have been, a concerted effort by a whole lot of people, and we only have about 7 people working here at this car lot. And for the entire car to break down, you would need at least a team of 25 people to have, made sure the car would just, fall apart. And exactly 3.5 days after you left the car lot, come on. You're a Trumper, right? Yeah, well, that explains it. That explains it. Ladies and gentlemen, so let's just the Atlantic. Let's see. So everything's morally relative too. Oh, Bernie won coin flips also. Let me see if I can find Let me see if I can find an article about. This is a video. Oh, here, Forbes. The science of Hillary Clinton's coin toss victories. This is just unbelievable, too. There's even a science. It can happen. They'll never learn, also. I swear to God, Trump's going to win again. And it's going to be like, no, Trump didn't win 2 elections in a row. Yes, he did. You have no clue when those 6 coin flips, at what point did the 6 coin flips impact the decision of other districts or counties, or impact how other counties voted in the various alignments. The whole thing's absurd anyway. They just make up rules. You might as well just have a treehouse full of kids and be like, I'm, emperor, and you can be vice president emperor, and you can be secretary of the apples that we collect, and this is the Democratic Party. And you are defense secretary of the insects, and you are lord of the oranges. Yeah. And we're going to have, this will be, we'll use this hammer, and then it's like a gavel, and, and we'll meet well, you know what? And then the rules change the next day. Yes, Francis! 6 is synonymous with you. 6 is synonymous with down with Vine, up with Hillary. Francis Perot. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. Thank you, Francis. Francis, thank you. Yes. Thank you very, very much. They never learn also. It's just always like, I've never seen people who are so corrupt and duplicitous and disingenuous and deceitful. I've never seen such people so arrogant. And the hubris is just unbelievable. They're so arrogant and snide and condescending. This is definitely either a participation trophy type thing. You never take the L, huh? You don't know what losing is. They apparently never learned what losing is, ever. We won, right? Oh, she got more votes. So what? And by the way, there will not be another Republican who gets the popular vote for a long time. There will not be another Republican who gets the popular vote. Bush got the popular vote in 2004? That's 16 years ago, and the media will ensure that any Republican from here on out never gets the popular vote. So you can forget about any Republican getting the popular vote. Unless they close down New York and L.A., and it's like Escape from New York, Escape from L.A., which are 2 fantastic movies. Love Kurt Russell. Big Trouble, Little China. Love Kurt Russell. One of my favorite actors. And so, oh, Lord. Okay. I don't think that they realize Frankenstein! Trump could fall down the stairs from Air Force One, and by the time he got to the bottom step, he'd be standing unharmed, giving a speech like nothing happened. He's going to have 4 more. Exactly, Frankenstein. Thank you. Frankenstein. Oh, yes, I Eric H526, I did. That was a wonderful. William Abrams, thank you. Frankenstein, yeah, he's fine. He's going to be fine. President Trump is fine. Biden, even when he's on point, is so uninspiring. He looks like Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, come on, man. Like when why is it Kamala Harris always has to laugh hysterically? What are they laughing about? Like, what's so funny? What's so funny? Every campaign video you see. What are they laughing about? What on earth is so funny? Hold on, let me see. Did I miss Grupple? Hey. I appreciate that. I'm just gonna have to. I apologize. I have to do the lollipop. I have to do the lollipop just because I'm against the whole message board nonsense. But thank you so much. I do apologize. I have to implement the lollipop rule. I apologize just because I can't. I'm so against that, and they're already using it. Grupple. Sorry about that. I have to remove that. That was the whole thing too, like the whole LMNOP thing. It's like I don't want to go. Well, we go on, we go all. I don't want to go with you. I have to go to the dry cleaners, and then I got to go to Whole Foods, and then I'm going to the batting cage. You want to come to the batting cage? I don't even know who you are, okay? I can't. I'm busy. Where we go on, we go all. I don't want to go. Where are you going? I don't care. I'm voting for Trump. I'm voting for Trump, too. I'm busy, and I don't want to go where you're going. Grupple, thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much to my super chat. Thank you. Frankenstein, thank you. Did I miss another one? William? No? Francis. Oh, Harry! Harry, thank you very much, Harry. Thank you. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated, Harry. Thank you. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, God bless. To my super chat, thank you so very much, everyone. I will see you tomorrow, same time. Be here 9 p.m. Pacific. Sometimes I'm a little later than 9 p.m., but you know what? The link is always on at 9 p.m. So 9 p.m., 9:30 we start. So anyway, be here 9 p.m. Pacific. Yansan Long, hello. Cosmic Grandpa, hello. Samuel Stafford! Samuel! Thank you, Samuel. Very, very, very much. My goodness, Samuel, you've been absolutely fantastic, and your generosity has been greatly appreciated. And like I always say, I don't have $20 million in venture capital, and it's just, it is really touching and really wonderful that, Samuel, that you and everybody here are just so supportive, and we're going to keep going at least a tiny bit more. Samuel Stafford is so awesome. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Samuel Stafford. Thank you very, very much. Here, let's just see what else is going on. What did Biden do this time? Maybe I can do an impression. Samuel, I got to do something. I mean, I just appreciate your support. Video showing Biden falling asleep is manipulated. Okay. Video showing Biden falling asleep. Samuel, in addition to your amazing generosity, we now have something we can enjoy and laugh at for a couple minutes. See, this is how you know that they're losing. They should really understand that their side is really losing. If you have a video where the future president, a person running for president of the United States, where a person running for president of the United States is falling asleep, it really doesn't matter if you fact check the video into oblivion. The notion that the person would be falling asleep at any moment when their camera is running is a bad thing. And this is, by the way, not the first time. Thousands of social media users sharing video which claims to show Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden falling asleep. The video has been manipulated. It was actually during the video, and there's no way to manipulate it. It went like this. He was like nodding, like, you know how like you know your a family member is talking to you as you're sleeping, or yes, honey, yeah, that's fine. I know. It combines Hillary Clinton's endorsement video, in which Joe Biden is seen looking down. Oh, by the way, there was another one where they fact-checked where he was like, I'm going to beat Joe Biden. And then they said, no, he said he's going to be Joe Biden. You see how right you said? And you're the same person who said you couldn't have 30 coin flips. You see? Samuel Stafford. They need a feather under his nose. Then he'll sneeze. That won't be good, then he'll sneeze. The post, shared over 13,000 times, here, and here, are often accompanied by text. Joe Biden is asleep during live interview. The videos joined us live this morning, and then it appears Joe Biden, who appears to have his eyes shut, and the TV presenter saying, wake up, with a snoring noise in the background. We just want to let you know that the Russians have been saying that Biden is sleeping. It's part of Russian propaganda. He's not sleeping at all. In fact, it was a doctored, manipulated video. In fact, he was never never a newscaster in New York saying, wake up Biden. It never happened. In fact, the video where it shows he was sleeping is actually a video where he was sleeping when he was talking to Clinton. So how could he be sleeping in 2 locations? The clip is of TV presenter from 2011. This is what's going to give it to Trump. This false information. People, just find it in your heart to look at life from reality. Joe Biden was never sleeping. And then they repeat it. They repeat it all the time. He was never sleeping. He was never sleeping. Joe Biden was never sleeping. And then people get Biden sleeping. Biden sleeping. And they're like, can you imagine this man? It's like a nuclear confrontation. Mr. President, what do we do? It's like, Mr. President, wake up. What do we do? The Russians, I think they launched a preemptive nuclear. What do we do? Huh? Something happened to McKinley? Huh? It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable that they're so clueless. He's a good, empathetic man. He's so empathetic. Fact check video. This is probably how this is the biggest example of how clueless they are. Fact check. Video showing Joe Biden falling asleep during a live interview is manipulated. You have basically helped. This is Reuters. You've basically helped Trump. My God. This is an opponent. This has to be the most inept opponents of all time. I mean, they do this all the time. Oh, Twitter does it too. Like, this video was manipulated and altered, and don't ever look at it. Don't do it. Don't look at it. Oh, I think I'll click on. What are they talking about? It's a video of Trump clowning Biden. It's hilarious. Don't look at it. It's a manipulated video. This is a manipulated video. I just want to let you know, it's false news. This is false news. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. What happens? Everyone looks at it. And it's shared a million times, even more so, because Twitter is, the arbiters of truth that go after one side, not the other. Like, it's just unbelievable. They truly think it's just unbelievable. Come on, man. And then you get, like, it's so hilarious too. They don't see how funny it is, because when Biden is when he's interviewed by the press, like with Trump, it's like, Mr. President, whatever. Well, you're going to apologize to the American people for the lies that you've been telling, huh? For 4 years? And Trump is like, next question. Total diss. And the next question. I'm going to listen to you. Huh? Hey, excuse me, Mr. President. Mr. President, I asked you a question. And then with Biden's, Mr. Vice President, we love you so much, Mr. Vice President. I'm asking, it's okay, you want us to leave? Fine. Stop. No, don't. Okay, we'll leave. That's fine. I'm sorry, we'll leave. And then when he's asked a question, Mr. Vice President, it's just, Trump took a cognitive test. Trump took a cognitive test. And we're just wondering if you would take a cognitive test, because, not that we believe it at all, because we don't, because you're totally fine, but it's just that, there have been some people who believe in really bad things, that the earth is flat. Well, they've been saying that you have cognitive issues too. Oh, you junkie! You're a junkie, and you'll always be a junkie. Why should I take one, man? Why should I take one, man? Huh? Did you snort? Did you take a little toot? Huh? Snort? Snort a little? Did you take any narcotics? Huh? Well, then why should I take a cognitive test? Huh? I'm done with this crap. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. It's fine. Don't take it. Please, can I ask you another question? Gotta go. The missus wants me. This is the best one, too. He's used this so much. The wifey wants me. Wife wants. I don't want to be in trouble. In trouble, wife. See, I'm pointing to my wrist. There's no watch here, but wife wants me. Wife wants me. You don't want to get on the bad side of the wifey. Mr. President. Mr. Vice President, you're such a good person. We love you. Trump bad. Samuel Stafford! Samuel, thank you so very, very, very much. Frankenstein, thank you. Samuel, Roman Hoax, thank you. Samuel Stafford, thank you so much. And Samuel, just be here November 3rd, because it's going to be awesome. It is going to be awesome. To my super chat, thank you, Samuel. Thank you as always, Samuel Stafford. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless. Roman Hoax, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Please be here tomorrow, 9 p.m. Pacific, same time, same bat channel, same time. same place. Everyone, thank you so very much. Voice of Reason, thank you. Samuel Stafford, thank you, sir. Thank you as always. And ladies and gentlemen, God bless. To my super chat, thank you. Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, thank you. And I will see you all tomorrow. Be here 9 p.m. Pacific and check out my upload tomorrow.